Submitted for the approval of the Midnight... Oh, wait, that's a different thing.
Yeah, it's a different thing.
So we just... we went to go see Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Mm-hmm.
We should probably preface this as to where we stand when it comes to the source material, because you are a big fan of the book, right?
I love it for the same reason everybody else loves it, for those illustrations.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
What about the stories?
The stories weren't all that great.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I only know of it through reputation. I've never read it, and I have seen the illustrations, which were amazing. Apparently, I was actually watching a video about it not too long ago, and apparently there was like a later edition of the book that they like replaced the illustrations with.
The artwork for the re-release was done by Brett Hellquist. The guy did illustrations for a series of unfortunate events. So the art wasn't bad. It was just that it doesn't hold a candle to the stuff that Stephen Gammell put out.
No, that was terrifying.
I mean, I read that shit at age 6, and that's pretty much what got me into horror.
Wow.
Those books were always checked out.
Yeah, I've unfortunately never got around to reading those.
Yeah, I have the first one. I don't have the other 2. But yeah,
All
the
right.
stories were basic, standard folk tales, just with really disturbing illustrations. But this movie, on the other hand, oh boy.
So we were excited to see this because Guillermo del Toro was doing it.
Yeah,
It was one of my favorites. So I don't know how much of this we're gonna spoil. I don't think we might end up spoiling it because apparently you have a lot to say about it.
Well, I'm just
Because it's funny because right after the movie, I turned to him and I go, "What'd you think?" And he goes, "We should go." I was like, "Oh God."
Yeah, I didn't want to get into it in the middle of the theater.
Okay.
And I didn't realize that the theater we went to was the Prime Theater.
Oh, the seats were nice.
Yeah, they were nice.
The guy next to me was terrified.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he literally like knees to chest. I'm not kidding.
Are you serious? like the jump scares were happening, and of course, since you're in the Prime Theater, the rumble's like right under your ass. I'm sitting there the whole time like.
I'm wondering if they got rid of the D box and they just have
I think
that
is
now.
the D box now.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on what theater we pay for.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so the book, I'm guessing the stories were standalone, right?
Yes, they were.
There was no framing device.
No, there was no framing device at all for the books.
Yeah,
it was strictly an anthology.
So, which in my opinion is what the movie should have been.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
So the story of the movie is it takes place in the '60s, and it's Halloween, and the kids are out trick or treating and throwing eggs and throwing shit at each other because that
literally
happened. Yeah, that happened.
Flaming bag of shit
to the douchebag preppy bully kids.
Yeah, it lasted about 10 minutes.
Yeah, so they get chased by the bullies. They go into this abandoned house that was like the founders of the town's house and all that. It was it's haunted and people don't go there. And they find a book of scary stories written by this crazy lady who was...
by the daughter who was like locked in the basement her whole life.
Yeah, she wrote all these scary stories, and there was like urban legends around it, and it was like, kids died after reading these stories, and then of course they take the book, and then over time... the new stories start getting written into the book, and they all involve the kids that found the book.
Yeah.
And they all end in some horrible way.
Yeah. It was.
And there's this whole overarching story about the author of the book and the family and how she was treated and all that stuff. Again, I really wish this was an anthology because I've said a million times. We need more anthologies, especially horror anthologies.
Yes.
I love me a good anthology.
Speaking of which, Shudder... Sorry, didn't mean to go off on a tangent, but Shudder's coming out with a Creepshow series.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll have to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you want to just get your opinions off your chest?
Well, you pretty much said what I was going to say, and the fact that this should have been an anthology. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking trying to build a framing device around a bunch of unrelated tales.
Yeah.
Not only that, I actually did read all the stories in those books, and they jumbled some of the stories together.
Really?
Yeah. Like the creepy corpse lady from the Big Toe that took whatever his name was away. I don't even remember their names. I don't fucking care. They were so forgettable.
Augie. That was his name.
Oh, his name was Augie?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally
I remember their names because they kept saying it over and over because their names kept appearing in the story.
Ugh.
Anyway.
But that corpse was in a different story called The Haunted House. It wasn't the same thing. And the whole bit at the end, was it Mitai Dodie Walker?
Yeah, what the hell was that?
Yeah, that was another story. That was two stories cobbled together.
What even is that?
It was like some weird thing they kept saying back and forth to each other. You have to read the story. It's really fucking weird.
I guess so, because that thing was kind of freaky, I'll admit.
Well, the whole story is about a bloody head that falls down the chimney, screams at a dog, and the dog keels over and dies.
Oh. Well, that kinda happened.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing with the corpse that assembles itself, that's a different story called What Do You Come For?
Huh.
About a dead body that falls down a fireplace, assembles itself in like this lonely old lady's house who all she wanted was a friend, and this hideous corpse comes down the chimney, assembles itself, and it's just like, what do you come for? And it's like, I have come for you, and then the story ends. Like I said, the stories weren't all that great.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, the illustration for that one is literally just a pair of feet coming down a fireplace.
Wow. So that is kind of interesting. I can see why you'd be a little upset about this.
Yeah.
But
the one thing I hated most of all about this movie,
what?
Was Stella.
Really?
Yeah. By the end of the movie, I was just like, please just shut the fuck up.
I kind of see what you're coming from. See, here's the thing. Because there's a framing device in this movie, we have to get like the characters' personal lives involved.
Yeah.
And her whole thing was that her mom left,
Apparently.
and she was she's with her dad, and
yeah, Hank Schrader.
She wants to be like a writer, but she doesn't want to move away because she didn't want to leave him and all that. And yeah, it brought a lot of unnecessary baggage into this movie. I feel like the way this whole thing was framed, it feels kind of like they were trying to play off the Goosebumps movie.
Essentially.
Remember that? Because there was kind of the same thing. It's just a group of kids, and then all these horrible things come to life.
Yeah, and the sad part is the first part of the film was actually really promising.
Yeah.
Like, especially, alright, we're just going to spoil it. The thing with, the beginning with Harold.
Yeah. The bully kid.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, the thing I liked most about him is that he kind of looked like Pro Jared.
Oh, God.
And then a scarecrow
now.
came to life and stabbed him with a pitchfork.
Yeah, but...
You know what, now that I think about it, like, all him and his two friends, they all looked like Pro Jared.
Oh my God, you're right. They're all Pro Jared clones.
Oh God.
But, I mean...
It made his comeuppance a little bit more satisfying.
And the way that happened, well, it was different from the story, because in the story, at the end of the actual story, Harold just basically peels the guy's skin off and just dries it out in the sun.
Wow. I did kind of like how they did it with that, because the whole thing was like his family was on a farm and there's a scarecrow and he hates the scarecrow for some reason. By the way, who the hell puts a friggin' human face on a scarecrow? It's supposed to be just a thing with a hat on it.
I think that was one of the siblings of the old Bellows family, actually, because they mentioned the name Harold at the end of the thing in the flashback.
Huh. Yeah. But the way it happened with him was he came home drunk after messing with all the other kids, and his mom's like, "You gotta go deliver eggs," even though it's the middle of the night.
It's like 1 a.m.
Yeah. So
like, yeah, sure, I'll go deliver eggs.
He stumbles around going to get the eggs, and he passes by the scarecrow again, and meanwhile the book is like writing this whole thing about him. Yeah. And then he passes by the scarecrow again, and then they did have a really cool moment where he like walked past it, and then like he made a turn and then it was like there, like he got lost in the corn or whatever.
Yep.
And then it came to life and it chased after him, and then it grabbed a pitchfork, stabbed him with the pitchfork, and then he like started stumbling around and like hay kept coming out of all of the holes in his face.
Yeah.
That was
I
pretty
didn't know
cool.
what was happening at first because I just saw him get stabbed and I'm like, and now he's vomiting. I'm like,
yeah,
all right.
I thought he was like coughing up blood, but no, it was like it was straw just coming.
Coming out of his mouth, his ears, his hair.
Yeah.
Out of the pores in his hands. It was fucked up.
That was I'll give this movie credit. It has good atmosphere and it has some pretty good visuals.
Yeah, and that's what I'm like. The first half of the movie, I'm like, all right, this is actually pretty fun. And then it's like the universe heard me and went, how can I ruin this for him? And, oh boy.
You in particular.
But by the end, it's just the fucking... Like, I liked Ramon, I liked his character, but fucking Stella, Jesus, at the end of the movie, it's just like, stop telling the story!
Ramon was
like,
cool.
oh my god, shut up!
I see where you're coming from with Stella. I'm gonna be honest, I kinda liked it, a little bit.
Yeah.
Up until a point.
Same.
And that point was the very end.
Yeah, same.
When they did the whole, we're totally gonna have a sequel. Can we make this a franchise?
Yeah.
Please. Hello.
Yeah. They're still gone, but there's got to be a way to get him back. It's like, no, please, I don't want another one of these.
That's when I was like, I was kind of hoping that they would just come back.
Yeah.
But either keep them gone or make them come back. Don't bank on a sequel.
Don't half-ass it. Yeah. But I was just kind of disappointed in this.
Yeah.
Because it started off so well. There's this old movie, not old movie, Grave Dancers, which was part of I think it was After Dark Horror Fest or something like that. And I've mentioned that film before because it is really creepy. It got to that point, and then all of a sudden at the end, you finally see the ghost for what it is, and it's like some stupid sci-fi original CGI creation. And
oh god,
I remember seeing that, and I'm just like, it was going so good.
You fumbled on the 1 yard line.
Exactly. I hate it when movies do that.
Yeah. I mean, I like I said, I don't have much of an attachment to the stories because I've never read them. I only know it through reputation.
I mean, honestly, they could have called this movie anything, really, and it still would have been a passable, spooky movie. It really just felt like, okay, we'll have the scary story's name and we'll put in some of the things for like maybe 5 seconds each.
Yeah, that one monster, that pale lady in the hallway.
Yeah, the red room.
Yeah, that looked kind of silly, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, it did. When you see the actual illustration of it, it's creepy as fuck.
The situation it was involved in was genuinely creepy. Because, again, it had, like, it tried to do this genuine feeling of just, like, being lost and then something just slowly coming toward you.
Yeah.
And they did that with pretty much all of these. And it could have worked so well, but...
In fact, the name of that story wasn't The Red Room at all. I think it was called The Dream.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the whole thing. It's just she shows up and goes, "This is an evil place. You shouldn't be here." And then that's the last you see of her in the story.
Wow.
But yeah, the illustration is her just basically leaning over, I guess, whoever the main character is.
I've seen that illustration. Yeah. To me, it never translated as to some fat lady or... It just looked like someone with a really sunken head.
Right.
Like on... like. No neck, just in their torso.
Yeah, but in this movie, it looked like the Pillsbury Doughboy with Sadako's hair. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
And she wasn't a malevolent being to begin with. It's I don't know. I'm reading too much into it, I guess. This could have been something great. And
I think the only like genuinely like really scary moment was when Augie got pulled under the bed.
Yeah.
That because that was just like screaming and terrifying and a lot of build up. Again, this movie had great atmosphere, great build up, and great visuals, but it fell short in so many things.
It did. And that was the thing. That's the thing that kind of aggravates me the most about this is because it had a chance to be something really great and it ended up just being passable.
Yeah. I don't think it's unwatchable. I was genuinely invested in a lot of the stuff that was going on. But I can see where you're coming from, especially since you're familiar with the books.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's fine. I think it's all right.
Yeah, I wouldn't rush out to the theater to see it.
Yeah, rental. I think maybe
Amazon Prime.
Maybe watch it with maybe watch it on Halloween because it takes place on Halloween.
Yeah.
At least at first it takes place on Halloween.
There's so many better movies you can watch on Halloween.
Yeah.
Like Halloween.
Yeah, any of them really.
Yes. Well, maybe not 6.
Yeah. Well, we got. Maybe when It 2 comes out, we'll have washed away some of the.
That'll be a palate cleanser.
Some of the disappointment.
Yeah, right.
Again, I didn't think it was terrible. I think it is worth a watch. It just it could have been different. I think that's what it comes down to.
Like I said, it could have been great, but it ended up just being mediocre, and that just makes me sad.
Go check it out at least just for like I said, the atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's a good Halloween movie to watch on Halloween.
Yes.
So, is there anything else you wanted to bring up?
Not really much there.
Yeah. I think we pretty much.
The scariest thing about this movie was the overacting.
Oh my god.
But that's all I got.
Yeah. It's okay. It's alright, so I think that's about as best we could say about it.
Stream it.
Stream it. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Alright. The end. Bye.
Bye.